How do Chinese people feel about black people? Have you ever asked yourself a question? How do Chinese people in general really feel about black people? Where do they put us? Okay, I think there are very interesting accounts on the internet. And as I was browsing, trying to find something interesting, somebody sent me something very, very interesting. It's basically an account of a young lady, young black girl in a car that looked like Uber. I'm not sure whether Chinese people use Uber, but it looked like it was in China because she spoke Mandarin with the driver. The driver was a Chinese man, speaking to a client in a car. And the Chinese man seemed to be wanting to tell the truth. He asked her whether she wanted to know the truth on how Chinese people feel about black people. And he told her, listen, we don't intermingle with you. We don't marry you. We're not friends with you because we feel like we, yellow people, if we mix with black people, we have black kids. And black kids generally are not very intelligent in school. So it's going to be us watering down on the good things that we have to be with you. So in other words, black people are stupid. Naturally, they don't learn. They don't grow. And for a Chinese person, mingling or marrying or getting an account with a black person, it's a waste. Listen to this.
因为我们中国人说你们这个黑颜色的不生了小孩是黑色，这一点顾虑也是很大的。因为我们是黄颜色，万一生的孩子是黑色，是不是在学校里都说这？
He mentioned the word filtering. We don't want to be filtering our Chinese into making black babies. It's like black is filtering Chinese genes. Wow, let's go.
小黑孩在学校里学习都不好学，真的
不好学。
有很多人吧，他都是喜欢白色的，白色的生了小孩子是白的。你看我们这里人都是黄颜色的多，生了皮肤白的人都喜欢白色的小孩。
She looks disappointed.
小孩子，
我们这边一句古话就这样说的：“一白遮三丑。”你明白这句话的意思吧？
不太明白。
就是这个意思，就是说人白了之后，就显得格外的漂亮。
So this is very interesting.
All right, your take, guys. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, that's interesting. Those are interesting comments he made, and something I want to pick out here is he said, "Black 3 white equals 1 ugly," and then he also says that when black marries with a Chinese and they have a baby, the baby is not beautiful. So clearly, it seems like this guy is coming from a point of prejudice, right? In his mind, white is better than black, and I think that's his personal opinion. It might not necessarily represent what everybody or every Chinese thinks about this whole thing about race. But those are very interesting comments. And if you listen to how he speaks, he seems to be very confident and very sure of what he's saying. So I wouldn't say it's a representation of everybody's view, every Chinese's view, but I think his views on this topic are particularly very, very strong. And I don't know where he got his education from, but that's his personal opinion anyways.
That's a nice way to say non-chonren or non-chonren or whatever the Chinese word is.
Non-twin,
yeah, non-chonren or non-chonren or whatever the pronunciation. For me, again, back to what he's saying, I've heard different side of this same conversation with Chinese where they go like, oh, you getting married to a Chinese lady, you have better kids, intelligent and whatever. So like you said, you cannot use just this particular driver's opinion to actually wash the entire country. Yes, there are a lot of comments like this too. Mm-hmm. And sometimes this is, for me, it is kind of, I've met a lot, and I can say when it comes to their take on Western matters, they don't have an idea. It is what they've coined, and they will tell you on authority until you have to take time to educate the person and say, oh, do you know this? And then you say, no, but they said. So this guy is speaking from but they said book instead of maybe learning and researching and whatever. So I don't take people like that serious because we have it all over the world, actually. So that's my take.
And this exposes a lot of things, because usually we find a lot of people trying to defend Chinese and how they feel about black people. And usually they say it's because it's a different culture. They've never seen a black man. You know, we've seen old videos of Chinese people trying to touch black people's hair, you know, asking them questions along the lines of, if you were put in the rain, would you lose your color? You know, trying to rub on the skin to see if the color will come out. Many things like that we see. And many people say it's because of ignorance and stuff like that. Well, I think the driver has been very clear. You know, he said black people are not smart. Black kids don't do good in school, you know, and we don't want to be filtering our Chinese because we are yellow people. We want clear. We want white. The whiter people are, the smarter they are. And that's a very interesting question. Chinese people believe the whiter people are, the smarter they are. The darker they get, the more stupid they get, or the stupider, if you prefer. Is he telling lies? Question mark.
I like that. Is he telling lies? So is the guy being honest? Is he telling the truth, or you guys think there's like, you know, another side to that story?
I don't think you mean the driver, you mean?
Yeah, because I mean, he's asking the question:
Yeah.
Is the guy telling lies, or is it a fact? Is it how Chinese
I think
people really
I
feel
think
about
he's
black
telling
people?
the truth based on what he knows. And that's why
Yeah.
I said earlier that I think he's speaking from what he knows. It's not really what he I
His
mean,
own education in life.
having lived here for a long time and met many different kinds of Chinese people and learned how the reasoning is. I mean, it's clear for me to see that he's coming from his person. It's his personal opinion and what he has
Mhm.
heard or what he has been exposed to, because there
Yeah.
are millions of other Chinese who even disagree with him being a Chinese. We just saw a video. I just saw a video yesterday of a Chinese girl. I think she's somewhere in the West, also talking about these things, shading on her own people for the way they think about Black people. So, I mean, even in China, we all met people who have opposing views of of how some of the Chinese think. So, I think he's not lying; he's telling the truth, but from his personal opinion, from his side of the story, which doesn't necessarily represent the opinions of everyone.
Mm.
You
Right.
understand?
Yeah, I think there's like multiple, like, you know, prongs to this argument, because the thing is, like, what the guy said, and I like what Zach said. It's like, you know, what the driver said, and I think it pertains to him. It's
Hmm.
what he said.
Yeah.
And us coming from, like, you know, a democratic, you know, country, which is kind of right, we have freedom of speech. So I would also understand this guy has the right to say whatever he wants to say, and he said
Yeah.
what
Hmm.
he had to
Yeah.
say. And it
Yeah.
got to a point the lady was actually even laughing, right? Because he could feel the I mean, she could feel the ignorance from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
for me, that's my thing. When you meet
Yeah.
ignorant people and they kind of spewing all these like BSs, you just laugh it off. You know, you just got to move on because it's just
Right.
one man's opinion. And then number two, also, we don't have to pretend it's like, you know, either a group of people or one person should be always welcome into the idea of, like, you know, a mixed family or, you know, interracial marriages. It doesn't matter. It's family, you know, it's family to family, because
Hmm.
there have been parents that I really know personally, like, you know, who would always say, no, I do not want my Chinese to marry, like, you know, a foreigner. And it's sometimes it's got nothing to do with the color necessarily. It just
Hmm.
sometimes they feel like, you know, foreigners just want to party, want to have fun. They don't really think about the future like Chinese do, right? Culture wise, when Chinese get into relationship, they want to be serious. You know what I mean? They think about family, they think about buying an apartment, they think about, you know, creating a life for their, you know, their kids and all. So there's also this idea that, you know, foreigners who come to China pretty much like, you know, just, you know, party goers and just want to have fun. So it's more about individuals and what their perception of foreigners are. Then again, we met a lot
Yeah.
of foreigners, sorry, Chinese also, who don't really care. They'll be like,
Hmm.
hey, as long as my kid is happy, I'm happy.
Hmm.
So my
Yeah.
thing, you deal with people individually, as in where they come from, their attitudes, their characters, right? The way they treat you. For me, it's as simple as that. So I
Right.
can't watch the video and be like, oh, this is like, you know, the what this guy, the Chinese mouthpiece, because of this guy. It's like, this is how and this is why I don't like this video necessarily, because he's kind of making it look like people defend Chinese saying they're not racist, but clearly they are racist, right? This is just one
Hmm.
driver who's like, we can't even see the guy's face. You know what I mean? We've been here long enough, and if they did not really like people, black people, respect black people. I mean, we've been here, but our kids have been going to school for free. They've never faced any sort of racism at school. They've never been discriminated from school. So my thing is, like, if they really are, we would not be sitting here having the discussion. We'll be talking about it on a constant basis. how Chinese are biased to us. And of course, it's all about experiences. There is somebody who also might be in a different city who will be saying a different story. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way like in America and Europe. A black person will be like, yo, my fellow blacks are like being lazy. There are a lot of opportunities here. They're not really taking advantage of the system, right? Because he's been in positions and he's met people who've influenced his life and he's kind of like, making it out in life. So somebody out here in China would also be like, yo, I met this guy who did this to me, who said this about me, and they will feel like somebody discriminating against them. So everybody's experience is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
somebody said something about China being that, there's no racism in China, but because he's never encountered it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean he's just defending Chinese people blindly because he hasn't encountered it. So this girl who encountered this guy, she can also say, oh, there are some Chinese racists, when you get into their car, but it doesn't mean like, the entire Chinese populace. It's for me, it's like,
I mean, if I was in the place of this girl, I think I would have just ignored the guy, to be honest, or even just get out of the car, because
you don't have to.
listen, my
you
personal
give the
opinion.
guy power over you.
No.
Right?
My
Because for
personal
me,
opinion, I will ignore him.
I get it.
I will ignore him
Mhm.
because I think that as a person, me, not anybody else, me, it's
Mhm.
not worth having a conversation with this guy. I'll just tell him to
Yeah.
shut up and drive me to my location, because he seems like the kind of person who is not reasonable. And I don't think that I want to waste time mingling with such a person. If the person will have the same conversation in a very, how do you call it, in a manner that will be in a form of a discussion, then I would be able to engage this kind of person. But he was basically just saying what he wants to say without even like asking any question. It wasn't a conversation. He was just telling the lady what he thinks, which is not wrong. But personally, I will just ignore this person because I think the level of his intellect, I'm not saying I'm intelligent, but I don't think he's intelligent enough to have a conversation with me as a person.
Anti-black, and it literally fucking pisses me off. Like, we are literally so uneducated, uninformed, just misinformed, everything about the black community, and it pisses me off. And like, it just boggles my mind how a lot of Asians see black people as beneath them. I shit you not, I literally saw someone on my story and I literally was so gagged. Like, I was like, are you serious right now? And I sent him a message, ask him if he's being serious about this. This guy is Bhutanese. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but like I guess he got like some kind of spray tan or whatever because he's doing some kind of stupid movie shoot or whatever. Roy posts on his story and says, because his skin is like 10 shades darker or something, he said, "Can I say the N-word now?" with a ninja emoji next to it. I slid up so fucking.
That's interesting.
All right, so my question is going to be to you guys. So now that there's this other side coming from an Asian person, I don't know if she's Chinese or Korean or whatever, but she's Asian clearly. So does that mean that this is also what all Chinese or Asians think about black people, that they all respect black people and they all love black people? Because she seems to be educated about black people, so she doesn't have this kind of like, ignorant view about black people. And she's just one person, just like the driver who was one person. Mr. S. Does it shape the whole view about the Asian community on Africans or black people?
Listen, I've said this countless times. We've been here far too long to actually have this conversation, right? Let me tell you, I've seen videos the same all across Asia, through the Philippines, Thailand, and other places. We from the African continent, we don't even in Ghana West, we don't even see them. Right? The stand and all those stand people. You see them and they pass those comments. So it has to do with something from the education. That's what the girl said. They are so uneducated about it. And it goes back to the driver.
Very good point. Good point. Yeah.
Right? It goes back to the driver we spoke about. It has to come from a certain PhD school they went to. I don't know. Yes. No, I don't know. But yes, if you find yourself in this place, continent, right? You feel that energy. But personally, me, I'm a different person. I don't let things like this, because I love myself more than anything else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The thing, that's exactly what I'm saying. For me, it's got nothing to do with like even like loving yourself and all that. We all do, but the point I'm trying to make is that I feel like it's also because for a very long time we've not been in charge of our own narrative. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
but
Other
if you
people
don't tell your
always
stories,
tell.
listen,
But
listen,
that's what I'm
listen, listen.
saying. Other
If
people
you
have been telling our stories. Give me a sec. Other people have been telling our
no, you
stories
took
for a
it from
very
me,
long
so I'm not
time.
going to give you a second. For the
So,
past
okay.
whatever, you've been taking things from me. If you let allow me to learn, then you will know. If you tell your story, nobody can go about and tell some other stories for you. You understand? That is my point. We've allowed things to, like you're saying, oh, just let it be and let's move on. But if we start to come out and defend our corner, hey, this is what we know you think about us, but this is what has happened through history, and this is where we are. It is not you explaining yourself, it is you telling facts. But we've let things be, and when I'm telling you, that is why I'm not surprised. Anywhere I go in this world, people have a certain form of opinion about Black people. Who has to change it? It's about time. When things like this happen, we educate them. I will not walk away. I will say, yes, I don't really care. But if you really want to have a conversation, then we can have a conversation. I think from the driver was having a conversation. It was an opportunity for the girl to school him, whether he's from a village or whatever school he went to. If you kind of bring a different point of view to what he was trying to say, then he'll go like, oh, I didn't know that, right? I didn't know that. Everywhere you go. But hey, anyway, for me, this topic, this kind of these people don't like us, these people think we are beneath them and whatever. If we start to also think and expose some of the things we also know, then it's the same. The same back home, when you go with your Chinese girlfriend, they ask you, you did not see any other woman than a Chinese. We don't consider that as racism. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we have to look at these things on a case by case basis. Yes, we
We
know
have
that.
to. That's exactly what I was trying. The point I was trying to make. Exactly. Just go on.
So generally, for me, and also we have to look at it from all angles. For example, if you look at the contact of Black people from Africa and the West, Europe and America and all those places, you will see that we had earlier contact with them than in Asia. I mean, when we all came to China over a decade ago, things were not as they are now. It was really, it was closer to primitive then. That's when you walk in the streets, people will come and touch your skin, hold your hair. Now you don't really see that often, at least in the big cities. Why? Because there are a lot more Black people coming into Asia now. But when we were all growing up, you would rarely hear that there was somebody you knew was a Black person coming to Asia. It was mostly like Europe, America. So I think that also has a factor to play, that people in Asia generally are now gradually getting educated, or they are now getting in contact with Black people. So some of those opinions are likely to be lurking, but gradually a lot of people are coming in contact, they are learning, and that image is washing away bit by bit. So I think that the lady saying that the most people in Asia are uneducated about Black people, I agree with her on that, because for a long time, most people didn't have any contact. I bet you there are even people in China who have never met a Black person, millions
Till
of
date.
people.
Till date,
And
yeah.
so their opinion of a Black person will only be of what they have heard in their corner from a grandfather, from a teacher, from a book, or whatever, until they meet you in person and interact and see, oh, and we've all had those experiences, right? We've had people who were shy from us or would run away from us. But once you interact with them, they get to know that, oh, you're a sweet person, you are not different from them. So I think that
No, you, no, you.
when we talk about these things, I think immigration also has a role to play, because many years ago, people didn't come to Asia. It's now getting more and more common. But with the West, we've had that contact for so long. So even though people are still racist in the West, it's not, it's how will I say, there's been a lot more interaction with people from the West than people from the East.
Okay.
Masa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the last one, it's kind of interesting because I mean, I don't think there is like, white racism, black. It's just racism is racism. So whether they've had like, a lot of interaction with black people and they're still racist, that doesn't even make sense. But the point that I'm trying to make is that at the end of the day, if you've actually had interactions with black people and you know them and you're still racist, it's even worse than somebody who hasn't had that interaction and they're racist. So one thing I want to say is that we have to always go back to like, back to history. We haven't been in charge of telling our narrative, right? It's always been the West and other countries, telling our narratives to the world. And what has that looked like, right? Like we're poor, we riddled with diseases, we uneducated, blah blah blah. So this is what the world knows, right? People will not know any different. It's what, let's say, most recent years that the internet has kind of like boomed up and people are getting to understand different cultures. And also, let's not forget that at the end of the day, when we were kids, we used to do the same thing. We used to say the same things back then.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Because someone who
It hasn't changed.
right? We
No, but it hasn't changed.
But so that's
It
the point that I'm
hasn't
trying to
really
make.
changed.
So that was
what the
exactly
girl
my
said-
point. That was
Yeah.
exactly my point, that the amount of time you have contact with people
Mhm.
lets you understand them more. But in Asia,
time,
they haven't
yes.
had contact with black people for that long, and that is a fact. There are many
It
Asian
doesn't
countries
necessarily
yeah.
have to be coming in contact with people. I think it's more
I think it's very
about-
important. If you don't get close to
No,
somebody,
I'm not saying
you
it's
will
not
never be
important, but
able
I'm just saying it's not necessarily the biggest factor. I think the most important thing is us as a people telling our narrative and putting out things that make people understand us, right? Of course, we're different. We're not like Asians. We're not like Europeans. So we have to be able to tell our stories the way we see fit. But then if we're going to make UNICEF, whatever, Oxfam, come to Africa, put kids that flies and, snort, coming out and, this is how people are going to see us.
But
Do
they
you
do the
understand what I'm
same.
saying?
They do the
No,
same
no,
for
hold
the
on.
Asians.
No, but that's
in
what
the
I'm
West.
saying. But the point is that when we go online, when we interact with people who come to China, who come to Ghana, when we kind of talk to people who travel overseas and come down, we get to understand the different sides of, the coin. They tell us different stories, so we get to understand. But on the other hand, like we said, China used to be a very close place, right? They opened up not too long ago. So a country of 1 billion people, you cannot, expect people to kind of have an understanding of Africa. Like, it's almost impossible. So my point, it's gonna take time. If you look at recent years, things like Afrobeat, right? People are loving Afrobeat. You even got Chinese people collaborating with Africans on Afrobeat. So it takes time for people to understand us, to understand the culture, the way we think.
That's
why we
exactly
are
my
the way
point.
we are.
That's
Yeah,
exactly my point, that
exactly.
the amount of time people have to interact with you makes them understand you. And
Exposure.
that's yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But that's what I'm saying, that it's one of the point. But the most important thing is what we put out there. Because if you will be honest, whatever we watch on TV, we see about things that China is putting out, it's about bridges, right? Kids that are learning in schools, high-tech stuff. But what do our governments put out? We don't have any
Silence means
projects.
consent.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have any project that is pushing a national agenda. Like, people come and visit this area. This is what Ghana has to offer, right? Look how beautiful our scenery is. The food is great. It's only a few content creators that put those out. But in China, the government spends a lot of money to promote their country onto the global stage. So it tells you a narrative about that country. Oh, I really want to visit China. Why? Because you've seen all these nice and beautiful places that people are talking about. When it comes to Africa, we don't have any projects like that. So people see us the way that either the West or whoever puts up there, right? This is what they see. The war-torn areas, Sudan, Congo. This is what people see. There are literally people here we've spoken to, and they did not even know that there are high rises in Africa. It's recently people are putting them on channels on WeChat. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's very difficult to just, independently blame just the people that they should be educated. How would they get educated if they do not have the exposure, right? And you cannot just up and be like, okay, I'm going to expose myself to it. No, you can't. It's the people putting out the narrative, and then people chance up on it. They forward it, some go viral, right? And then people get to understand a lot of things. All right, here we go.
Okay. This is a video showing a Chinese child and an African child. An African child is dancing. and the Chinese child is working.
No, but honestly, you gotta give it to the kid. He's got moves. He's got moves. He's got moves.
He got
If Uncle
nerves.
Steve does this, he's gonna break a hip.
So what you see is African kids are dancing. They dancing. They're dancing. While the Chinese kid is learning how to build things together.
I get that. Before his opinion, I want to get you guys your take. If you chance upon this video online, what is the first thing that pops into your mind? And what do you think the content creator who put this out there, what message is he trying to send out there?
Propaganda. If it's I mean, that's how I read the mind of the person who put out this thing. The fact that the Chinese kid is doing some woodwork doesn't mean every kid does that or every school does that. And the fact that the African kid is dancing doesn't mean that that's what they do all day. So it's just something to put out there to show that one is doing something, using his time usefully than the other.
Yeah, but the question is like, does it mean the opposite can be true? Don't African schools do woodwork and don't Chinese kids dance? You know what I mean, right? It makes no sense, and there's no context to the video. These kids in Africa, I don't even know which country, right? They could be on like a recess. It might be break time. They're just having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this kid might even be probably like an extracurricular activity. We don't even know if he's in the classroom. Do you know what I mean? So it's all like these little like, you know, projections they put out there. People pick up on them and they're like, oh, look at these Africans. They're not serious.
And it's on TikTok, right? So it's some person probably wants views.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what else? Mr. You got something to say? We move on.
I don't waste.
I mean, let me just add something.
Like this because
last year or
if you go to the malls in and around China, right? They build places like that you can take your kid to play with any form of educational
science, technology, engineering, math. Yeah,
they can just to play. They have kids. These are toys, right? So, and it's just unfortunate that we don't have many. But I can equally search, and I'll get one from any other country in Africa where a kid is fixing your whatever logo or whatever, anything, right? And I can also attach it to a Chinese that is farming here. You are the Chinese kid for views. So these things are just anyway.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But that's what I'm trying to say. I don't really give a lot of like, you know, seriousness to these kind of videos because we all know what the end goal is, right? Like El said, it's just for views and clicks.
Listen,
if
this Chinese kid video, right? It is just this video to encourage our system to allow our kids to learn more woodwork at this age, tender age. Then I'm cool. No, but then I'll be cool because it's an inspirational video. You understand? But if you're going to compare where somebody break time, I play football like my shoe. I just one quarter. It doesn't mean I wasn't a serious student in school. So what kind of useless propaganda is
another
this?
example I'll give is last
year. No, but
you
were not you were not a serious student in school.
No problem.
A couple of years ago,
those cowboy. Remember the cowboy boots and the jeans and the hat?
No, that one was after school.
A couple of years ago, there was this international robotics competition, and guess who won?
I was about to bring that up. Yeah, keep going.
The Ghana team won over China, USA, South Korea, all these things. So
I think we came in third. We came in third or second.
Number one. No, we were number one.
Okay,
this year. It might have been a different time. Yeah, this year we were second or third.
Second.
We were first this year. Second. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
One of the years,
probably previous years.
The other were second. Yeah.
Oh, do you think that would make it onto TikTok? Of course not.
And that's what you were saying, that we don't tell our own story, so someone else tells it for us. I will not be surprised when we won. Some country will go and put it on their media that their team won the competition because they're good at that kind of propaganda. But we don't. Things that are like serious and can bring us benefits, we don't care about that. We care about the useless things.
really out of hand. And he was telling the black man, like, what have you learned after colonization? You were colonized, right? By the Belgians after they left you. You didn't keep anything. What have you done with the infrastructure they had built? Could you not even maintain it? Like, what kind of people are you? Instead of moving forward in life, you've actually moved backward. Let's watch.
你们受欧洲国家管理这么长时间，应该是学到了很多先进的管理经验。
哪有多少时间？没有多少时间了。我们炒那个要那个国经济的。
50 years of independence a few weeks ago.
现在是50年，自己50年那个。
就是50年以前，你不是受他们
50年以前什么都好啊。
是啊，那个先进的影响，那个代代往传下来，越传越文明越发达了，怎么越来越倒退，越落后了？你看这么先进的铁路，我1930几年就有电气化铁路，我这是中国啥时候才有电气化铁路的？你看矿区的铁路、电气化的双轨铁路。
He says the technology you have on the railway, we didn't even have it in China. Okay, we didn't have it in China. It's 1930s technology. We didn't have it. You had it already, but you couldn't even maintain that. You couldn't build from that. Let's continue.
因为架得多好，你看现在顶上那个什么，哎呀，千疮百孔啊，破烂不堪了。把原来留下的东西根本没有更加的爱护保护去留。
He says it will take the generations to build things right. Look at the black man. Look at his face. The man is disappointed with his community. Like real.
Why is it picking up with like look at his face? What is that supposed to mean? The guy lost hope, right?
He's in a pensive mood. He lost the
Oh, he knows the Chinese guy has got a very good point. And one thing he said that did not make sense to me when he said, "Oh, we only had like independence a few weeks ago, only 50 years." Like 50 years is a few years ago. It means not too long. These are kind of some of the excuses we just kind of like make just to kind of make ourselves feel good. Mr. S, I know you got a lot to say.
Well,
I mean, look at your man's face and make
look at his face. It tells you all. Like, I mean, what the Chinese guy was spitting there, pure facts, and this leads to the people we put our trust in them to lead our countries. And I've always said it. It is only a fool who doesn't learn from his experiences. I live it here.
All right, Mr. L. We got the philosopher. Mr. S.
This one is hard to defend because nobody will understand why after Ghana, 60-something years, we still can't do certain things. We're now just starting to see sparks of things, doing things on our own. But it's really ridiculous. And I think that over many, many years, we are, how would I even put it?
You cannot put it any other way than go after our leadership.
We've just turned a blind eye to solving the problems that pertain to us, right? If you know you have bad roads, you build them. If you know you have bad infrastructure in general, you build them. If you know you have bad schools, I mean, there's just no, even to the point where we don't even support our own. When we all came to China, how many Chinese car brands were here? I only know of BYD and Geely. And at the time, even Chinese people themselves were not buying BYD cars.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Now you go through town, almost all for sale foreign brand shops are closing down and they're parking and leaving. Why? Because Chinese have developed their own models and they are more luxurious and more comfortable than those legacy brands. So, I mean, the guy is 100% right. There's no defending this. We know that anyone who is going to defend this as an African is just lying to himself. We have been sleeping. We have been so lazy. We have been so non-innovative. Every negative connotation you can apply to us. We just have to accept our L, get our things right, and start doing things. Example in Ghana, Kantanka. When we were kids, this guy was already making ACs and all these equipment.
The clapping toilet.
Exactly. Oh, and these are the same things we see in China. In China, you do something, some action, and so now they have cars that you beckon to the car and the door shuts. Is it not the same thing Kantanka was doing? But no government, no single peso went into that guy's. So
and
it
we
just
make
tells you that,
mockery of him too. On top
yeah,
of
exactly.
It's
now, so I mean, I don't have much to say. The Chinese guy is right. We just have to get our things right.
He's right, but I think I have a defense. I mean, hear me out, okay?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Because I think okay, you cannot shift the blame from the people or the government, because the government represents the people. The government is pretty much elected and put up there by the people, so we equally to blame. But the thing is that I feel like we've gotten to a place where we're too comfortable, so we don't have that kind of desire to kind of develop and do things that will bring us a lot of progress. And why is that? Because I feel like we just gotten used to this aid, this foreign aid, right? Money pouring in from the West. IMF giving us loans, right? Importation is on I think we import about 80 to 90% of everything we consume, right? So if you have that kind of comfort, you have no desire to actually get up and do something like progressive for yourself.
What was the reason why you went for those comfort? What was the reason why you went?
It wasn't necessarily something, not because they went for them. They were also given. I mean, it was given to them.
Okay, so you've been given a certain money, a certain amount of money to build. Let's say you've been given 100 million, or let's say 20 million to build a road that costs 5 million or 7 million. What stops you from building it?
Honestly, that is a different topic, right? But the point I'm trying to that's a different topic.
What is that?
But the point I'm trying to make is that if as humans, if you are under pressure, right, to survive, to do something, that is the time you really, really act, when you have no other choice. So I feel like we're in a place where we get loans, we get IMF grants, Japan is helping us, China is helping us. So we got comfortable with that. We got comfortable with begging. But imagine nobody's coming to your aid, nobody's giving you any grants, nobody's giving you any relief, nobody's even shipping their stuff to you. Grow what you eat and eat what you grow. It's like you on your own, literally, because that's what China did. China shut its doors and they said, we cannot depend on the outside world. Why? Because when we needed the outside world during the time, the Japan invasion, nobody came to our aid. Nobody helped us. So that should be a great lesson. That's what they call that thing, the year of humiliation or something like that. So they understood that at the end of the day, it's just you and your people. That's why they shut their doors and they're like, we're going to do it ourselves. And they did it. And now everybody's in awe of China. So that's what I'm saying. It takes a very, very resilient people in leadership to do that. But it comes only when, like as a people, you understand that nobody's coming to help you. Nobody's coming to your aid. Yeah, but we know we got the grant. We know we got IMF. We know we can go, just file certain documents and, money's going to pour in. Yeah. Right?
I mean,
so I feel like that's the problem we have.
Yeah, for people who don't know Ghanaian politics, just 4 years ago, the previous government went to the IMF to borrow $3 billion. Ghana's GDP is about $78 billion. We went to borrow $3 billion, and even that we're being given in little amounts. There are rich people in Ghana who maybe can give you that amount of money, $3 billion. The current government came, I'm not doing politics, forget about NDC, MPP, whatever. The current government came in, whether they started it or not, they implemented this gold board thing, a way to control gold sales and export out of the country. In 10 months, they claim we've made over $8 billion. The president has put up this big push. They're constructing new roads. Yeah. They haven't gone to borrow money from anyone. What does it tell you? It means that we are just not serious at generating money. Like you said, all those aids and grants have made us so lazy to the point that
so comfortable.
Something that we can do, we don't even think. We just sit.
But Michelle, let me ask you one question. Sorry to cut you off. If you import a car into China, what is the tax rate on that car?
100%.
Okay, so what is the incentive for you to import a car rather than buy one locally? Right,
0.
You know what I mean? So that's my point. But we don't have these measures in place. Like you said, we're talking about Kantanka, right? But nobody really cared because we had multiple, brands, importation, use 20-year-old cars, accidents cars, damaged cars, salvage cars, and we love those more than actually what's being done on the ground. So think about our government says, if any car that comes in from outside, whatever, right, 100% or 200% are taxed. If you're super rich, you're wealthy, you can import it, fine. But how many people can afford that? And then you incentivize the local companies like Kantanka, right? So they can reduce the cost of the cars. And then low cost can pay. This is how you kind of generate revenue. Yeah. When you have the imports pouring in, how is Kantanka ever going to compete? It's impossible.
Dude, if Kantanka had been supported from 20 years ago, today we'll have a huge automobile brand in Ghana. what is, I mean, it's all about improving gradually, but over the years, no support. So I don't know. I
That's
agree
what
with
I'm
what you
saying. I
said.
mean, like you always say, let's not try to reinvent the wheel. Let's see what others are doing and kind of copy the blueprint. If you look at China, like you said, BYD, how did they all grow? Right?
Yeah.
China banned Google. There's no Google. What did they have? Baidu with their locally grown one. They don't have WhatsApp. What did they have? WeChat. You know what I mean, right? Everything that is in the West, they try to create their own here. And that is the only way to grow and progress as a country and be competitive. Now, even the Western countries are looking to WeChat and being like, damn, this app is like, it's mega awesome. So as a country, that's the only way you grow. But if you're going to import every single thing, we import WhatsApp, we're importing even now WeChat, we're importing like, Google. It's like everything is sourced from overseas. So we're comfortable. Why would I get up and say I want to build a search engine when I already have Google? But think about it, you have no Google, you have nothing, you have no Bing, you have no nothing. Automatically, naturally, schools, and they'll be pushing toward generate, come up with their own little, search, what do you call it, engines, and then over time, it's going to build up and it's going to get refined and get, better, like a world-class one. That's the way I see it. We just aren't comfortable, because that's what I'm saying. That is my only defense. That we're just comfortable because we're getting everything we need. Everything is on a silver platter. We just buy it, we bring them in. Buy it, we bring them in. We just tap into other people's stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
I see Mr. S sleeping because he's not interested in the conversation anymore, because it's not about food or women.
I'm tired of ranting about our governance. So it's just move.
No, but we gotta rant. I mean, we gotta rant. We are still like it's gonna affect us and your children. We're gonna keep pushing.
The effect is already there.
That guy cannot have kids.
No, the effect
Sorry
is
to say
already
that, but
there.
that guy cannot produce. So
no, look at the guy's face. Now, like,
yo, stop attacking my man.
No, I'm not attacking him. Listen, the moment the guy asked him for 50 years, and then he said, "Oh, it's just like
a few weeks." Yeah,
and then the guy corrected him. 50. You are talking about 50 years here.
Yeah,
right. The type of training you guys are using here, we've stopped using it. Not that they've not had it before. They've had it before, right? But which way can you defend? No, sometimes when I hear things like this, how? I mean, how? How can you
all right,
defend
amigos?
this? How can you defend
on to the next one? Yes, sir. All right. So, guys, leave your comment to the comment section. Like I said, we're going to keep going on and on and on. This is a never-ending conversation. So, from DLS, we're out. We'll see you on the next one.